go on to win the next general election. Let me introduce and welcome to the stage Laila Cunningham.
Good morning. As Nigel has said, today we are announcing that I'm standing to be the next Mayor of London. Now, I know that we're still 2.5 years away, but the election on May 7th is the first step. It's the first step to reclaiming our city. Now, these local elections, I tell everyone, will be a referendum on Sadiq Khan, on Labour's broken London. It's Londoners' chance to vote out every councillor who's propped him up and stayed silent while he's let our city down. From now until May, I will be spearheading our campaign, touring every borough, because for the first time in years, Londoners finally have a real alternative: reform. And unlike Labour or Tories, we won't defend a status quo that doesn't work for the voters. See, London is my home. It made me who I am. I was born and raised here. Discovered my passion for basketball here, in the courts from Croydon to Brixton to Newham. I played in the London Youth Games, some of the best times of my life, and that's where I learned the importance of team spirit. I became a senior Crown prosecutor here, and I'm raising my 7 children here. And that's 7 reasons why I want to do this. I love this city with all my heart, but unlike some in this room, I'm not blind to what it's become. London, one of the greatest cities on earth, is no longer safe. And that didn't happen by accident. That happened on Sadiq Khan's watch. Let's just go through some stats. Knife crime in London is up 68% since 2016. Robbery is up by more than 50% during that same period. More than 100 phones are stolen every single year, and that's just those we know about. We are living, ladies and gentlemen, through a rape epidemic. You see, crime for me is not theoretical, like some of the journalists who say I'm scaremonging. My family has experienced it many times. In fact, one time, my kids were targeted by gangs in balaclavas, who people say don't exist. Day after day, near us, in broad daylight. We were all terrified. I turned to the police, naturally. I was told there were not enough resources. So I gathered the evidence myself. In fact, I just had a baby then. I put him in the carrier. I followed the gangs. I took photos because they were all in balaclavas. Their shoes were very distinct. I protected my family when the state couldn't. The press called me vigilante mum, but I should never have been put in that position. There should have been backup, but there wasn't. There should have been leadership that cared, but there wasn't. And I had to risk my life, my baby's life, my family's life to protect my family. Enough. I speak to so many women in this city who don't feel safe. Why would they? There's no police, and hardly any rape offences are prosecuted. I speak to women who've been raped who have been told by the police, I'm sorry, there's not enough evidence. And we all know rape happens when no one sees. I speak to parents, like myself, who panic every time their child doesn't pick up the phone. I think, has he been stabbed? Has he got into a fight? Has my daughter been sexually harassed? And I do see masked gangs roam our streets. I saw it as a criminal prosecutor in the areas I went to, and I see it in my area. And they carry knives and behave as no one will stop them. And most of the time, sadly, in this city, no one does. See, Londoners like me have lost faith in the law. The social contract and the state has failed in its first duty to keep us safe. This is the London that Sadiq Khan has created. A city where criminals operate freely, where victims are sacrificed, ignored. People are scared, and Khan thinks it's enough to tweet platitudes, random stats. Because let's face it, Khan never accepts responsibility. No, he attacks anyone who says London's dangerous. He calls them far right, racist. He ludicrously says that criticism of his record is because he's Muslim, and we are all Islamophobic. Frankly, it's an insult to victims and to Londoners. Londoners are scared because most of us, let's face it, have been victims of crime or know someone who has. And we're scared because London is more dangerous. Just look at what happened on Edgware Road this week. 3 young men stabbed. This is life now in London. It's not even surprising. This is what families fear every day for their sons when they leave their house. I've got 3 teenage boys. It's what I fear. A city where criminals just operate brazenly. Why not? There's no visible policing. Yet he keeps telling us his fight against crime is working. Let's have a recap of his greatest hit, shall we, in his so-called fight against crime. Police stations and public counters closed. Visible policing cut. Stop and search halved. And as violent crime rose, guess what he did? He chose to create specialist Met police squads to monitor hate speech. Officers diverted and tasked with policing language. Honestly, you couldn't make it up. And thanks to Khan, a massive vacuum on our streets, power vacuum, that was filled by criminals. And listen, crime doesn't stop with the victim. It's corrosive. It rips through the economy. Shops close. High streets die. I speak to people who don't want to invest here. Investment goes elsewhere because who the hell wants to build a future in a city where the police just don't show up? And the consistent message from Khan is, it's not my problem. It's not my fault. He treats City Hall like his own kingdom, waving through pet projects or jetting off to faraway lands on our expense. He rewards cronies with six-figure salaries while ordinary Londoners can't pay their bills. But Londoners need to know that the state of law and order in our city is his fault. He is the London's Police and Crime Commissioner. He appoints the Met Commissioner. He sets the priorities, the direction. He signs off on the budget. He is in charge. So Londoners, I have a different message. Safety for Londoners is the first duty of any mayor, and it will be my first duty as Mayor of London. And that means visible policing. Zero tolerance for crime, real consequences. There'll be a new sheriff in town, and I'll be launching an all-out war on crime. I will set clear, high-level priorities for the Met to focus on tackling knife crime, drugs, robbery, shoplifting, rape. And I will task the Met Police with targeting, hunting, and prosecuting rape gangs in London. There will be nowhere for them to hide. And as mayor, I will ensure there is a serious reckoning for those who have failed those victims and those who have failed this city. Speaking of the latter, TfL. Time and time again, London has been held to ransom because the mayor won't stand up to his union paymasters. He serves them before he serves us. And under me, that ends. And if it means automating the trains, then that's exactly what I'll do, train by train. Every part of life in London is getting more expensive. And still, he keeps punishing people for driving to work. ULEZ isn't about quality of air or air quality. It's about cash and control. He knew it would hit working Londoners the hardest. He just didn't care. He just wanted to be some kind of international eco-warrior. Working people have been fined, tracked, and taxed simply for driving to work. I'm speaking to parents simply for taking their children to school, simply for caring for elderly relatives. Carers, tradesmen, small business owners have been treated like the problem, while violent offenders walk the streets. Not only walk the streets, own the streets. Under my watch, that will stop. I will end the war on motorists. And to all you Londoners stuck in traffic, I will get London moving again. And I want to say something about the city I love, about London itself. When I was growing up, London was the place to live, the place to work, the place to build a life. People envied those that lived here. Now they pity us. They say, ooh, London's a bit too dangerous for me. People were proud to say they were Londoners. We said it with warmth, with belonging. Sadly, today I speak to so many people who are leaving, so many families who are moving out because they fear for their kids, because their kids have repeatedly been mugged, targeted, to businesses who are shutting down because they can't afford the shoplifting, investors who are going elsewhere. Sadly, our young people that I speak to no longer dream of moving to London. They're scared of it. They see young men are stabbed for their watches or jackets in broad daylight. That's not normal. But we're told to accept it. But for me, it will never, ever be acceptable. Now imagine the reverse. Imagine London safe again. Imagine pride again. Imagine the capital city of the United Kingdom restored to its former glory. Strong, confident, prosperous and secure. This is the London I believe in, and that is the London I will fight for. A London where our flag will be flown proudly across the city as a symbol of unity, belonging, and as a symbol of our British pride. This city made me who I am. And as mayor, I will fight for it, for my children, for yours, for us. I will fight as hard as I can for the London that it should be. A united London. No more splitting us in boxes, black, white, gay, straight. No, we are all Londoners under one box. Because all they did was divide and conquer. That's going to stop. Over the next 2 years, I will put together the most serious, detailed plan for London that any party has produced. And I won't do it from behind a desk. I will go borough to borough, estate to estate, high street to high street, listening to Londoners. And unlike Labour, I won't be lecturing them. I want to hear from shopkeepers, mums on the school run, black cab drivers. One of my first legal jobs was representing black cab drivers, nurses, small business owners, young people like my children who feel that they've been pushed out of their own city. I will speak to everyone because this plan will not be written by me. It will be written for and by the people who actually live here, work here, raise their families here. And they deserve a city that finally works for them and not the politicians. Because I'll end with this. This isn't about political allegiance anymore. It's about the future of our city. And I don't say this lightly. It's about the survival of our city. Living in London the way we want to live. It's about restoring what makes London worth living in. Ask yourself, is that still here? It's not about whether you voted Tory or Labour. To be fair, most Londoners have given up on Tories a long time ago. They're not even part of the conversation. But the mayoral election will be a binary choice. Khan v. Cunningham. And listen, Khan knows who I am. I've confronted him before on his record. He tried to ignore me once, but my message to him, he can't ignore me anymore. The choice of Khan v. Cunningham is a choice that you will make that will decide the future of London, the future of the best city in the world. So I tell you this, vote for the freedom that safety brings. Vote for reform. Thank you.